Alright guys, quick video. I'm going to show you how we can modify the geometry of a mesh that already has morph targets and the skin weights on it. And normally, in a regular workflow, this would be a big, huge pain in the ass. But we have these handy, nifty meta utilities now with these cool buttons, which will allow you to do things like preserve the morph targets even after you collapse the stack, and transfer the skins from one mesh to another. So this shirt is a little tight in the waistline, so pants with belts and things like that are poking through. It's got this weird bump back here, and the geometry resolution here in the breast is terrible. So let's go ahead and fix these things real quick. And this is really just to show you guys that that it is possible to add new things here on the stack. So that's probably pretty good. I can even add another edit poly modifier. So let's see, edit poly. This time I'm going to increase the actual resolution here. And I'm going to do that with a mesh smooth. And I want to be careful because obviously I don't want to apply this smooth to the whole mesh. I hate this isoline display. I always like to turn it off just to see what's actually happening to my geometry. So that looks pretty good. I think the shirt's gonna look a lot better in the game, and especially when we look at, all of these shapes are actually going to be a lot better. And you can see that, because all these things are still up here in the stack, that they came across nicely across all of our different body types. Okay, so now how do we get this stack collapsed with our morph targets and our skin preserved? So the first thing I'm going to do is make a copy of this shirt. I'm just going to let it be shirt 01. And now I'm going to drag the skin up here in the modifier stack. Now, normally you would never want to do that for something in the game. You don't want to go changing the order of the stack on a mesh that's supposed to be used later in the pipeline. But this is only a dummy, so that we can grab the skin off of it later. And now what I'm going to do is go to my handy tools here, and I'm going to collapse with morph. And what that's going to do is collapse this stack and preserve the morph targets. And so now we have our mesh back. And you can see that the modifier stack behaved correctly, and so all of the attributes, or the topology I should say, of our mesh is pretty good for all of the different morph targets. So we should be good to copy the skin over now. So I'm just going to select the source first, and then the target. Source, then target, And now I can transfer the skin. Now if I was doing this and I, for some reason, needed to make a geometry cut and preserve the normals, even along the seams of the geometry, I can also transfer the normals from one mesh to another. But in this example, we don't need to do that. So I'm just going to delete our dummy shirt here and check and make sure that that our skin weights came across nicely. So that's looking good. Yeah, looks like everything's working just fine, and we still have our morph targets. So that is how you edit geometry while preserving the skin and morph targets.